then they got in a fight, and I was like, man, I ain't about to do nothing extra for y'all because y'all retaliated and and these is girls. They retaliated and got in a fight. So
We can't have that. There's no reward for this dismay.
yeah. So today's topic on the porch, right?
On the porch.
On the porch with CJ and MT, right?
Yeah,
The chosen one and
Mr.
the
Workhart.
success engineer,
Indeed.
right?
Indeed.
Today's topic is who do you listen to? And what else did I say at brunch? Who do you listen to and
And
who do
why?
you take and why? And who do you take advice from and what makes you follow that advice?
Mm-hmm.
And I need you to speak up today, Mister the chosen one.
I am going to speak up today.
I need you to be interactive. Like I'll be listening to this dude
So,
on a regular basis. I'll sit there and listen to this dude talk, and when we get on this podcast, you don't say nothing. You barely.
barely
Oh
talk.
well, it's about this, and he talking like
I'm
a
trying to speak.
therapist.
Yeah.
Forget that, man.
Well, for me, I like to listen to people older, wiser, not necessarily, well, yeah, older, wiser. Um, people that's older than me, that experience more than what I've experienced, or may have experienced a situation I'm in. That's who I listen to. Now, do I take their advice all the time? Yes and no. Um, I take tidbits sometimes, as if you've ever got advice from me, I always tell you to put your own little spin on it. That's what I do. My words are not gospel, and it's not something that has to happen. But if it can help you get out of a situation or help you get into a better situation, I feel like it would be beneficial to you to listen.
Why would you listen to somebody? Why would you take the advice from somebody that has wisdom? Why would you take the advice from? How do you know they have wisdom? First of all,
Well, I watch people's mannerisms. I watch how they interact with people. I
but say
listen.
if somebody comes up, not just comes up to you, but like somebody that you've known for a while,
Mhm.
gives you some type of advice, right?
Yeah.
How do you compartmentalize that to say, all right, this is valuable piece of advice, and I should listen to them. I should take that advice, and I should at least keep it in my memory until that happens.
Well, I do that. I do soak it all in, and I do retract and reproduce what the conversation happens at a later time when I can focus on it, because I like to weed through the bullshit, because sometimes people will tell you stuff and they'll set you up for failure. So that's
Even the people
even the people that you probably know and trust, they will set you up for bullshit sometimes because they don't want you to get further than they've gotten, which is, I'm not gonna say it's terrible. I get it to a point, but you can't hinder somebody that's willing to put in the effort that you're not willing to put in. You could have all the right things to say and have all the right advice, but if you're not executing it yourself, and then you go tell hither, fither, and yon, then they're gonna come back and be like, "Oh, well, the advice you gave was great, but you're not doing anything to execute. So why would you tell me this?" See, and then that's when the lines get blurred, because then people be like, "Well, you're not even doing this, so why are you telling me to do it?"
right.
You have to get away from that to a certain aspect. Everybody in the world is not hating on you or whatever new trend that's styling for not helping is going around. It kind of grew up that way for me, but for the most part, I see people in their success. I listen to people, I observe people, and like for me and you, I see you making strides to do what you want to do in life. So you're not gonna come and tell me something, and I'll be like, oh, okay. It's not gonna register me that's bullshit because it's not gonna be bullshit. 'Cause it's gonna be like, oh, well, this is probably gonna be his next plateau that he's gonna go through, and I know it's gonna go through because I know the type of character you are. So as you um, have these relationships with friends and family, you need to evaluate the execution that they have because you have people that give free advice all the time. You get it on the internet, you get it anywhere. Strangers will tell you stuff that they want you to hear, and it's all about what you soak up and how you apply it in your life. For me, I apply a lot of things, and I'm no spring chicken, so um, certain things I'm learning now I still apply. It's not too late to apply it, but it has to apply. You can't, be 45 trying to do 19 and 20-year-old things. It's not going to be very valuable to your
I'm gonna
body.
try. I'm about to try to dunk one of these days. Like that's a 19, 20-year-old thing.
But
I'm 41.
but that's good. You go through the changes to make those things happen. I'm talking about people that complain or maybe have all these ideas, but they don't do anything to execute. They're still in the same rut.
Right.
And that's bad news bears, but you have to have motivation. And
Motivation is a part of it.
it's a part of it. You have to be motivated to do it. You have to want to do it. So you have to conform your brain to say, hey, this is what we're going to do today. So I kind of already got a schedule, looked at how much time I can consume. So gym opens at 5 o'clock. So I get up at 4, wash my face, use the bathroom, make sure, it's, yeah.
Get yourself ready
get
for
myself
after
ready.
the gym too. Yeah.
Then bam, go to the gym, you hit it hard, and then 45 minutes to an hour. Either you can go home, take a quick shower, or you can
So hit the gym from 5 to
get five to 6. So a nice solid hour.
solid hour. All right.
Because you can get a lot of stuff
And
done.
then
And you're
6
not
to
working that
7
way. 6 to 7,
is
you can take. Well, it's summertime
for
now.
you. You gotta tell them about like this is your
Yeah,
little
this is my
schedule.
plan. So
Okay.
4 o'clock, get up and get ready. I'm prepared. I want to leave the house by 4:45. I should get to the gym by 4:55 because there shouldn't be any traffic. Because it's early in the morning,
Yeah.
and I'm going the opposite way.
Which
I'm just going to Metcalf.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Right
let's
up
join
here.
over here.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
so I can take the streets or whatever, and then I'll get there. Warm up.
It is nobody on the road at 5 o'clock, 4:30, 4:45.
There's people going to work.
It ain't nobody. It is nobody on the road. I've been out there.
So
I used to get up at 3 o'clock and drive Ubers to the airport. I know.
Yeah. So you know what I'm saying.
Okay.
So it's a perfectly executed plan.
But you ain't executed it yet.
April 1st, I'm gonna execute.
All right, April Fool's Day, huh?
Yeah. I'm gonna fool everybody.
So I want to let CJ speak because like I'll be having this stuff all the way like scientifically down to a science. So
I don't have it to a science. I have it to a precise moment.
Yeah, but I'm talking about our topic. Our
topic.
So when I introduce the topic, I kind of just let you speak and stuff. So then I put my little 2 cents on afterwards.
Yeah, and it kind of binds it together.
Right.
Like, hey, the teacher was talking about this, but this is what we really was talking about. So let's close it down.
Because I know you be on the right path. That's why I just be letting you go. I'll be like, all right, yeah, that's. But when I get to it, when I'm not saying you're not a master, but
I'm not yet.
I'm getting you there. I'm gonna get you there.
I'm in class right now.
but when the guru breaks it down, when I break it down, the success engineer breaks it down. I break it down like this. So I had a student talk to me. Well, we have these conversations, mature conversations about life and success and what they're doing afterwards, and all the things in between, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he went to some conference and met up with this guy. He was like, "Oh, we're gonna read this book because he's kind of successful, whatever." And I'm like, "Okay." He was like, "We read Rich Dad Poor Dad," and I was like, "Okay,
It's
good.
a good
Keep
book.
on talking." I
Yeah.
mean, I didn't necessarily read the book, but I understand the concept because I saw a lot of videos about him, the author, talking about it. So I was like, okay, let me know what you understand about the book, what y'all talking about. So they in the Rich Dad Poor Dad, they talking about making money and opening up your mind to making more money than your parents did, and the things that hold you back from reaching
Your potential.
your potential. We can say that,
Yeah.
but really, the author is really saying you need to make money to be happy, or you need to make money to do this or do that or whatever. And I was like, okay. I had a, I, I asked my student, did y'all talk about in the book talk about really reaching your fullest potential, or did it just talk about making money and going into real estate and doing these different things? And he was like, nah, we just talking about going into real estate and making money. And I'm like, but we need you to reach your fullest potential. Your fullest potential has the capabilities of making money, all the money that you can, or that you're able to. um, Doing all of these little adventures is good, but you have something that is more powerful if we hone that for these young years of your life.
Yeah.
15 to 25, we hone in these skills, and then we can move on to the money making aspect, because you know how you can make money,
Yeah.
because you have the skills to command money back to yourself, right? And so we've had these conversations over and over and over again, and he's receptive to it. So that's why we have these conversations. I only have conversations with students that are willing to have these conversations. And then after I left work, this was Friday, we're Sunday today, but after I left work, I was like, let me reflect on this. Let me think a little bit deeper on this. And I was like, we got to know who we're listening to. So if I'm listening to that guy that wrote this book, Rich Dad Poor Dad, I don't
Mm-hmm.
know how to say his last name, Robert Kiyosaki is what I'm gonna say. And if I look at his background, is it similar to mine? And if it's not similar to mine, what is that gap?
Mm-hmm.
What is the gap of information that I'm missing so that I can get to the same mindset or mental as him? And then, you know me, I look a little bit deeper into people's
Yeah.
backgrounds, and I was like, no, it's not a similar background. And then if I understand the concept of Rich Dad Poor Dad correctly, I think that Robert Kiyosaki is disrespectful to the his poor dad that had to make decisions to that afforded him and his family a decent life,
Mm-hmm.
the stability. And I talk about that all the time. I was like, I may not talk to it with my students, but like I think about it all the time. Like we have to, as Black people in general, we're usually in a negative situation. So that's why I like to work with disadvantaged people.
Yeah.
It could be disadvantaged white people, Black
Yeah.
people, any person is
Disadvantage has no color.
it has no color.
No.
So that's why I say disadvantaged. But Black people especially, like I come from a single parent household, so like Robert Kiyosaki is coming from a two-parent household. Mom had a profession as a nurse. Dad was a educator and ended up being a superintendent for a year.
That's
And
money.
you see what I'm saying?
That's
And
money.
it might not have been as much money as superintendents get now, because that was in the 70s or whatever.
Yeah.
But his dad had opportunities that
It's the
Black
plateau
people,
they're on.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So you have a two dual income, so that makes it free for the children to have freedom of thought to do whatever they want to do. So when I'm talking to my student, he doesn't have that freedom because he's lacking in some area. Whether it's like he always talks about wanting to retire his mom and take care of his sister, which all us black men want to do,
Yeah.
right?
That's the
We
goal.
that's
Sit
the
mama
goal.
down.
That's the goal. But what if we didn't need to have that goal? Would we be more freer to explore different things, our fullest potential, which is our interests, and things that make us happy, right?
Yeah, well, I think that would be a change in the trajectory of how you approach life
Right,
and the things
right.
that you want to do.
And that's the gap.
Yeah,
So yes, he's speaking on a subject. The author is speaking on a subject that and has a mindset that is conducive to success. The gap is that I need to get to that level, and I
turn
need
it
to
down.
get to that stability that he had, and then take it to another level. Because I mean, I don't know if I'm explaining it right, and I will probably go deeper into this, but like the stability part is really key because he had the opportunity to explore different things and go in the direction that he wanted to. He could go do education because Robert Kiyosaki, he talks about not going to school, and me, I believe that that you should black people really need to go to school
Oh yeah,
because because we need to further our knowledge of things. We can't
yeah,
just go out there and because I think society wants us to not reach our fullest potential. They want us to be less educated. They want us to just go after the money because you don't necessarily have to be smart or intelligent or knowledgeable
you sure
to
don't.
make money. And then that halts the progress of the people that have similar backgrounds as you.
Yeah,
So if we all just fall into the background, I listen to the Robert Kiyosaki. I'm gonna use all of whatever he says because he's successful, quote unquote, because we deem success as monetarily
yeah,
successful.
yeah. That's true.
But he doesn't have the same background as you, and
No,
most people don't. So that's why I talked about or wanted the podcast to be who do you listen to? Because then I had some students in previous school at Sumner Academy. I was only with them for 6 months, right? First semester, and I'm like, who do y'all listen to? Who do y'all listen to when it comes to people, not your family, not your immediate family, friends, and teachers?
yeah.
Who do you go outside to get information from and advice from that is credible? And you know what they did? Or
They probably just Googled.
no, no.
Oh, they didn't Google.
I said who do you go to?
Oh,
And they said me, and I had known them for 6 months.
well, I
And
mean, well, you have to. If you're, a lot of people don't have a lot of substance in their life that's constant, and you being an educator, that's constant because you don't want them to just come through your class and bullshit around. You want them to take something away that'll stick with them. It'll help them grow as a person. And regardless of if they show it now or later, I remember teachers that taught me stuff that I remember to this day. It's all about what you soak in aspect wise.
right,
So if something sticks with you, like you have your routine to where you go shoot baskets every day,
every
that's
Sunday.
that's a routine.
Yeah.
That's something that you're not gonna break for anybody because that's what you have put in your schedule. So a lot of people,
There's
like for
not people
me,
out there.
there's
There's
not
not
people
people.
out there that's like that. But for subject matter, if you had like grandparents or like aunts and uncles that would talk to you, or even your friends, even your coworkers, even You could pick up somebody as an Uber
Yeah,
driver, and he might
but
have
but
a nugget of knowledge
a
for you.
nugget of knowledge. So you have to really evaluate what that's really what I'm trying to get at this, and I need to be more clear and precise about what I'm trying to get at when I ask these questions. We have to evaluate what information we get from people, right? So um, in my school, I believe that I am the school that I work at right now.
Yeah,
I believe that I'm the only person in the whole school that has played a sport in college for all 4 years and graduated. Right?
yeah.
Maybe one other person. I think she might have be the basketball coach or whatever. But who are you gonna go to for sports information? If I was to tell you something about sports and you don't believe me, you just listening to your coach, and I'm like, all right. I mean, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Yeah, your coach had an experience, and he's your coach right now, but he didn't have the full experience, and he can only tell you so much. So then you go to the next person, and I'm not saying that you have to listen to me, but you have to evaluate if what I'm saying is credible.
yeah. And I think that for different people, if you give advice, it could come from the era that they came from because that's all they know.
Hmm.
There's not a lot of adapting in this
Right.
world right now. There's a lot of people that say, "Hey, this is what it's going to be," or you jump on somebody that's real hot and popular, and you follow them. I call that trends. People don't do trends um, because they in. So I listen to an array of people,
Yeah.
like young, old, senile, not senile, whatever. But I take what they tell me not as gospel, but I do kind of break it down and try and get my best understanding from what they told me.
But
I got a
that's from you. That's from you being older too.
yeah.
That's
Well,
but
I've
so even
always
all
been
right.
told that I have an old soul. My aunt,
Mm-hmm.
God rest her soul, said I was an old man in a young person's body because I'm always observing. Like I'm
Mm-hmm.
quiet,
Yeah.
real quiet if I don't know you, and then obviously you know me, so I haven't been quiet. Um, but that's just how I take things from people and I apply it to today. Like I don't try and apply it to like some person that's 65. Yeah, he's gonna have some ideas and the things that he tells me may not have changed too much, but they have. He knows that I know it.
Yeah.
So whatever he tells me, I apply to today's world. What works for me because obviously we've had conversations about relationships and everything else. Anybody you interact with, or brush up against, or anything like that, that's a relationship. Regardless of how you feel about it, it is a relationship. It may not be a two-way relationship, but it is a relationship. And I feel like not everybody takes advantage of the relationships that they have. And then God forbid something happens and that relationship is taken away, well, that's the end of your knowledge because that person can't teach you anything else. And the things that he taught you or she taught you or they taught you, because I'm being politically correct, um, you should be able to still apply that in today's world and it should be able to work. Um, and that's
Well,
that's what I got from that. But
you're gonna
you,
have to have knowledge for the sake of knowledge. I need like
I like
I,
experience better.
well, when you can't get the experience, you have to go off not other people's experiences.
Yeah,
So, so when evaluating what somebody says, if somebody's talking about marketing and they never worked in marketing, or like when I put out my book, right?
yeah,
One of my friends was like, well, you better watch out on how long your title is for your book. And I was like, but you never written a book before, so why would I listen to you like and I didn't put this in the book, but I have a totem pole of success.
Mm-hmm.
So in every conversation or whatever information somebody's trying to give, I gauge where they are in the totem pole. So the totem pole is just kind of an analogy because it's not the what it actually is.
Yeah.
So totem pole is like the chief is at the top, right? And then everybody else falls in line towards the bottom, and then the I guess I don't know what's at the bottom, but it just goes up, and the chief is the
Yeah.
end all be all, right?
Yeah.
So, are you the chief of what you're saying? Is that's why I evaluate if you're close to being the chief or are the chief or have a lot of information. Like I read this book and I worked in this field and my mentor was this person
Yeah.
and then this is what I know about this subject.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to be more
You
apt
have.
to be like, all right, I'm gonna listen to what they got to say, and then I take that information and I pit it against something else, right?
Yeah.
So even
Compare and
when I talk,
contrast.
yeah, my mom don't like it because I talk based off of what other people say. She thinks it's me that's saying it, but like I said, I got like over 17,000, almost 18,000 Uber trips. So I've talked to a lot of different people about a
Oh
lot of
yeah.
different things. So when I hear something that's contrary to what I know this person believes, I'm going to say what that contrary thing is to see how they react, to see what their answer is, see how it differs. But that's just my personality, and but that's how we have to look at it. And I'm not saying just scrutinize. Actually, I am saying scrutinize everything. I scrutinize every piece of information because um, I didn't have a lot of opportunities growing up. I didn't have a lot of people just willing to give me information or talk through things. Maybe I didn't ask questions enough, or but I still had to scrutinize who I listened to. So early in my life, I guess, like I mentioned in this Work Smarter and Work Harder, the Work Hard Philosophy for Individual Achievement book.
That is correct.
um, I mentioned my 10th grade basketball coach. So he was a buff dude, and I was like, all right, like I'm gonna listen to what he was like. We gonna do these workouts during practice. We're gonna jump with the heavy rope. He used to always force me to get the heaviest rope
Mm-hmm.
on the team. So I'm up there, and then you only get to jump one time. So you got to make sure that mug. But if you stretch, if you turned it hard enough and fast enough, it will stretch out and it'll be lighter.
Mm-hmm.
So, but you really had to go. It was still the same weight, but it felt lighter when it
Yeah.
stretched out. And after that, he was my coach. Yeah, I'm gonna listen to my coach. Like
Yeah.
that's something that I don't need to think about. You go give me the play, and I go execute the play. Right? That's cool. But after that, he was like, if you want to get to the next level, this is what you need to do. This is how you need to work out. This is what we're gonna do. I will stay after and work with you and do that. So my vertical and my jumping ability went from touching the little orange thing on the backboard to two hand cockbacks
Okay.
in 1 year, in less than
Yeah.
a year, just because I did the workouts with. So that 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 communication, that relationship, that everything, like I gained the knowledge from him. I didn't know his background or anything, but I trusted him to give me the information and he helped me execute it.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're younger, you're gonna have to look for those people that are gonna help you execute it too. Like this is what you do, this is how you complete it, this is and talk you all the way through that. We don't have a lot of people doing
We do not.
that.
We do not.
And they're just like coaches. Like you need a coach to help guide you through this life because your parents aren't our parents are parents of kids these days are so young that they haven't experienced a lot of life to really be, and we don't have grandparents that are old enough
No.
to to say, hey, this is what happened in my time. This is what, so I talked to all of the older people. Like
Yeah.
we had an older lady that teaches theater at the school, and she was a part of like the civil rights movement and stuff
Oh,
like that.
nice.
So
Yeah.
I
I
even
mean, not
asked her,
nice, but still,
yeah, like that's
the
a
experience.
valuable
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah.
So I asked her, I was like, so what I forgot exactly what I asked her, but it was something to the extent of why did you or what's the difference between back then and now? Like what do you think we would have done differently back then compared to now? And she said something like I hate this because I want to get it right, but she said something to the effect of like I wish I knew the protest wouldn't have worked back then because it worked to an extent, but
Yeah.
she would have did it differently back then
Yeah.
because of
Okay.
the result that it really didn't do much
I
as
mean,
far as pushing the needle.
it made an indentment in the movement, but it didn't get all the way across like it was
Yeah,
supposed to.
it didn't have the effect that they thought it was gonna have.
Well,
and and that is valuable information that I take into a next conversation or my studies of the civil rights or
yeah.
race relations in America and stuff like that. So that's what I was saying. As a young person, you have to take in the information, but not listen to everything. Take advice, but don't listen to and do everything that the advice says. You have to evaluate it, put it up against other things,
Yeah.
other contradictions to what that person said, challenge it in other ways before you just, unless it's just, hey, you need to go to the gym at this time, this time, this time. You know what I mean? That's kind of straightforward. But a lot of this stuff we're looking at, and we get fed information on the internet, on social media from these people that don't have a similar background as you. So you got to find that gap, even if it's a gap below.
It could very well
It
happen.
could
Yeah.
be a gap below because I didn't grow up in a tragic. I didn't have a tragic childhood. Like I
Right.
had my own struggles and stuff,
Yeah.
but like I didn't grow up in a household where they were selling drugs or you know doing that type of stuff. So
Yeah.
that advice, I'm like, okay, like I can skip over that a little bit. It's a lesson
Yeah.
that I can use as far as people are concerned
Yeah.
and what I don't want to do, but you have to evaluate where that information is on the scale and then on the totem pole. Like Robert Kiyosaki, I don't know if he is the uh, like I said, I think the I think he needs to give respect to his father for making decisions so he has the opportunity, and we always have to give our respect where respect is due.
Exactly.
But I don't know. I just came up with that when we were at brunch, and I'm like, Robert Kiyosaki, that's disrespectful to your dad that did a mediocre or not a mediocre job, but just a regular job.
Well,
That you had a normal life. You had a pleasant childhood. You I didn't see any uh, traumatic experiences in your in your life.
no. I mean, well, people have to. People don't always depict everything that they go through. Obviously, he had a better life because he had two parents. So
That's already an advantage.
that's an advantage right
And
there.
then the two parents have
They have
professional
yeah, they
jobs
have professional jobs.
with two
So
incomes.
for me, it's like, well, you didn't really hurt for anything. It seems like in his life, growing up as a child, he was able to try and fail.
Yes.
And us growing up, it was you could try, and fail. But it was depending on what you was trying, depending on how you reacted and how it affects you for the rest of your life.
Right, right.
For him, I don't know, maybe he wanted to be a
And
and we don't know where this guy lived either. So
Hawaii.
he lived in Hawaii?
Yeah.
Oh, well, he had like,
No, that don't mean there ain't poor people in Hawaii.
there's not poor people in Hawaii. They burned that down. Uh,
but
but the situation is not the same. It's
yeah,
not like he has a liquor store down 5 blocks down the street where
right,
he can go get some candy. I'm sure he got his candy from a reputable grocery store,
right.
or Russell Stover's had a joint.
The ability to fail, and that's what I'm trying to get at, is like we don't have a lot of room for error.
No.
Like his the stability that his parents gave him
Mm-hmm.
allowed him the stability to take risks, and we can take risks, and my student can take risks,
Yeah.
but is could it be detrimental to his ultimate success? Yes,
Absolutely.
and we need to mitigate that risk. So we definitely have to understand where the person that is giving us that information, where that book is coming from. Like I said, like I'm a different person than Robert Kiyosaki. I
Yeah.
didn't come from that background, so I'm up here talking to the student almost on a daily basis, or at least on a weekly basis, and
Yeah.
and then he's taking info. I don't know the new dude that he's taking information from. So whoever he's going through this book with, I don't know where what his background is.
Yeah.
You see what I'm
And you
saying?
have to understand their mindset too.
Right, right. My
My bad.
bad.
No, you're all right. So that is a number one thing for me, because you can give advice or say, "Hey, try this or do this," but where is your mindset at when you're giving these obligations out? Because your mindset could help you either be successful or fail. And it's just that simple to me. It's a straight line. You either get on one side, you can't straddle the line.
Right.
And a lot of people, I feel now, you can kind of straddle the line just because of everything that's out right now. But us coming up as we get older, the less and less we fail, the better and better we are off. So
Right. That's why information advice is so valuable to us, because it mitigates that risk that we have to have,
yeah,
right? And if we get valuable advice, if we get actionable advice, or just for me is the I like when people talk about um what they went through to get there. That helps me get a good understanding of
yeah,
what the process is, and then how my life, because I have a gap that's missing.
mm-hmm.
Like I can't afford to be taking a chance or a risk on whatever it is and it doesn't pan out.
Wow,
And I don't know if I haven't really evaluated if it's a negative for me. I don't think it's a negative, but yeah, I like to mitigate risk. So I'm gonna sit there and talk to the person, and I thought about this with the conversation that I had with my student, and I was like, the me mitigating the risk is not a negative, because it's not a fear based decision. It's making an evaluation on whether I should put myself in that process. And then usually I practice so much based off of the information that I know and I'm given and I research. So then I'm able to come out the back end, and then I'm challenging the top people.
yeah,
So the work that we're doing with the speeches and
mm-hmm.
the podcast and all of this stuff that you're helping me with is for us to practice and me to practice,
Yeah.
so that I can go challenge some of the best.
And
You
then
know what I
you
mean?
move up on that
and
plateau.
and then that starts another 10,000 hours. Like I need to be challenging myself against the best at that point. Like I don't need to practice anymore. We're executing
Yeah,
because
you're
I
already in the
already
game.
did I already did the practice and I'm already in the game. So that's how it helped me is like I'm listening to these people. This lady told me about the mentor conference that's in the first week of January or in January every
Yeah,
year. And those are the type of things. So I'm gonna get prepared for it
yeah.
throughout the year so that I can know, like, hey, can I be a speaker on here? I'll speak for free. I'll pay my ticket. Do things so that I can get on that
Yeah, we
stage.
gonna just get in the door.
Yeah, to get in the door. So you got to evaluate yourself and the information that you get. Now you can have I call it the total pole of success. When somebody gives you information, see where they rank on the totem pole. Are they the chief? Are they at the top of their game, or are they at least in the game?
Mm-hmm.
Like I asked somebody one day, I was like, would you rather a older white guy with no NBA experience and never played in the NBA ever coach your kid, or an actual Michael Jordan?
I think the obvious choice is gonna be Michael
Right.
Jordan.
The obvious choice is Michael Jordan because he has the direct
Yeah,
experience. But I ain't even gonna go into it. All of the coaches is old white guys with that. So
Michael Jordan. What? You
right.
can't compete with him. No, you
Yeah,
can't.
but if you had the chance, like I'm gonna take Michael Jordan and
Go run sprints. No, I'm not doing nothing the same.
yeah, you got a pot belly, coach.
You can run sprints with me, but be quite funny. I had that mentality when I was in school, and it didn't get me anywhere. It didn't. It got me kicked off the team. But 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 I understand the mentality. Like, you want me to do all this stuff? Well, I don't think you did it in your life.
Right.
So why are you telling me to do it? Oh, it's going to benefit me. But for me, I prefer if you do something with me.
Yeah.
Like, hey, do this. All right, show me
That
how to do it.
that's what my coach did. I mean, he
Yeah,
didn't do it with us, but like he was like
he showed
there.
you how to
He
do
showed
it.
me how to do it. He
So
he designed the workouts.
the fact that your presence is there and you're giving me guidance while your presence is there, I'll take that over you just saying, hey, go do this, and then you go off somewhere else and do something else.
Right.
It's not gonna work for me.
Nah. And I think that's a lot of black men that do that. Or at least it was me and my friend Larry. You met Larry at
Yeah,
the book signing. It was me and him. We did he started dunking too, and with one hand, but he a little bit shorter than me though.
yeah,
But even I'll continue out as a undergrad. When I got to Missouri Valley, um, I got in my program, the humanics program, and there was this teacher that was in a part of the program.
mm-hmm.
He happened to come from the same school as me, the high school, Fort Osage. He graduated from Fort Osage, graduated from Missouri Valley, got his master's degree.
Okay,
So that was an example. I already knew his history.
yeah,
Plus, he had he came from a single parent household too. So he understood already, and then I understood where he came from. So I was able to ask him questions and to really communicate with him on what I should do. And I don't know if he gave me really good advice because I was already forward thinking
yeah,
and stuff like that. But it was like he would not give me the okay, but like confirm
yeah,
where I'm going and be like, yeah, man, I did the same thing too. Like, and we would just bounce off. He became my advisor. He was my advisor, and
yeah.
we did our like. I had to go to him for my graduation audit. I had to turn in my audit of my classes for the 4 years, and I had to track him down. I'm like, "Are we gonna do this? Because I'm not I'm not about to spend another summer in in Marshall doing
No.
this. You know what I mean? So I was always forward thinking, but I knew I could get good information from him. I knew he was on my team as far as somebody that I could listen to and follow.
Yeah.
I could follow in his footsteps because I saw his footsteps
I understand.
beforehand.
Yeah.
So that would be one of the first things. Like you got to evaluate your parents too. My mom only has a high school diploma. Like she don't know what 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 opportunities come with a master's degree. So
Mm-hmm.
she was not able to. Yeah, I can't listen to her in that aspect,
Yeah, in that field.
in that field,
Yeah.
right? I can get some information from, but just not in that field. Like I'm not looking to her for that type of information, right?
Yeah.
So evaluate your parents, evaluate your friends. Like I'm not saying you don't you should be the I forgot the quote, but amongst your friend group, you should have similar goals or similar mindsets, so that you don't get in trouble. One, and then
You don't want to get in trouble.
yeah, because that's a derailment in
That's a hindrance.
success.
That's a hindrance.
Yeah, you don't want to hinder your own success if your friends are constantly getting in trouble, like real trouble, like with the law and stuff like that. You don't want to do that because that'll take you to places that you don't want to go
Yeah.
because
And then you don't have control.
right,
You
and
don't want that.
that hinders you from your success, from reaching your fullest potential. And that's all I was trying to get my students to understand is that we need y'all as young people to look towards reaching your fullest potential, not just making money. Because in school or in society, they say that they equate success with money,
Yeah.
and that's not what it is for especially the black community. We have to look towards being our fullest self, becoming our fullest self, reaching our fullest potential, and um, doing things that are necessary and gaining the stability. It's harder. It's hard, but your ancestors, your relatives, your ancestors, they worked, they fought, they sacrificed, they bled, they died for our opportunities now. So if you're not able to reach your fullest potential and you're just going after the money because you lacked it while you're where you were growing up, and it's causing you to make fear-based decisions and
Yeah. Yeah.
make pivots that you would normally make if you were had that stability, then you're doing something wrong, and we got to fix that, and we got to be knowledgeable, and we got to be open with ourselves to be able to move forward and fix those things that we see that's wrong. And you got to listen to the right people. I'm not saying Robert Kiyosaki you shouldn't listen to that. Like that is a good lesson, but that's just a piece of the puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
And what if it's millions of pieces to your puzzle that you have to put together?
But
I'm done for today.
you have
My
to.
voice is hurting.
Voice is hurting. I think we had a pretty good subject. We covered a lot. Um, but yeah, at the end of the day, who you are influenced by, who you take advice from, can help you get to that plateau. And if you are around people that are not necessarily trying to grow in life, or just like what they're doing right now does not last. It doesn't. The world is spinning constantly. You have to adapt, and you have to sometimes reinvent yourself or come up with a different way of thinking to be more successful, to get the things out of life that you want. And not everybody that you hang out with now is going to be on board with your decision. So you're going to have to maybe sacrifice what you do to sacrifice, I mean, not sacrifice, but to achieve the goals that you want down the road in life. So you can't take everybody with you. And you need need
and you
to.
can't take everybody's word.
No,
You can take everybody's word, but don't take everybody's advice.
don't literally do it. Just
Don't literally do it,
put
but
it up
have it
there
in
and
there for when it's for when you're ready for it. Like that's a strategy that comes natural to me. I don't know if it comes natural to a lot of people, but I'll listen to you. Like I'm not gonna push back. I need to hear what you have to say. But if I deem it not as wise as as another person, then like I'm gonna disregard it. And but I might have to come back to it. I
yeah,
remember what you said. But if I have a guru in at the top of the totem pole,
he's the
um,
chief.
and they told me one thing, and they book says one thing, and it's totally opposite of what you said. Like I'm gonna lean towards the guru because they got actual
Yeah, they're time
actual
tested.
yeah actual evidence of it actually working. And that's and I kind of am in my feelings when it comes to that, especially like with my students. Like I don't tell you everything that I've done because people start um
Start
they,
start judging.
not judging, but like they get insecure when I
Hmm.
start listing all the things that I've done over the years and the way that I work now. You know what I mean? Like people start like, oh, you do all of that. You know, I'm like, yeah, like it ain't nothing to me because I've been doing it for 20 years. You
Yeah,
know, so but um when people don't take my advice because I'm trying to get you there faster. Like I'm trying to get you. I'm just trying to help you out just a little bit.
trying to get you on the
Um,
sprinter train.
uh, and nor I don't know if I guess I'm on the fence because like I don't know if I want that type of power. But I think you should put me close to the top of the totem pole. If I say something, you should put me at the top of the totem pole. Like I probably should check out what he said
Yeah,
because I don't listen to a lot of people. I've read a lot of books and I got a lot of concepts that are in there, but I weed it down because I'm a life coach too. I weed it down to the nitty gritty, the lowest common multiple, lowest common denominator, all of that stuff, so that you can eat it, you can digest it better.
yeah,
But I say it so simply and nonchalantly that people don't take me serious, I think. But you got to look at the body of work. Like I may not be successfully monetarily. That's why I'm saying the success and money ain't quite the same. But the success and money will come.
it will
Um,
equal out.
it will equal out if you have the knowledge, and we need these kids to start uh, going after knowledge for the sake of knowledge because knowledge is going to be the key to all understanding and
Yeah, it's been the key for
success.
me.
Really, happiness, success equals happiness, and reaching your fullest potential. Success equals happiness and reaching your fullest potential. Remember that. Not just money. Money comes later. I had to tell that to the student. I was like, you're looking at the money. Your focus is 80% money,
Mm.
not it should be 80% developing of myself, developing of you, because developing you in these years, the 15 to 25 years old, is going to be more instrumental in the long term money making part aspect of it.
Uh-huh.
Because if you listen to highly successful people, money is a tool now. And like I said, we gotta we gotta look at people's past because like people like, oh, Shaq's a great entrepreneur and this and that, or whoever, but
He had
you
a
don't have the same path as Shaq.
he
Shaq
had
had
a
millions of dollars. It's really easy to be an entrepreneur with some wiggle room.
yeah.
You living paycheck to paycheck and you trying to be an entrepreneur like Shaq. No, that's not the same.
Well, and Shaq had a different structure in his life. Like his dad was army
Military.
military, so he didn't have a lot of,
But he was an athlete that got paid for to be an athlete
yeah,
at the highest, like max millions of dollars. You don't have millions of dollars. So the advice that the gap right there is the millions of dollars that it takes
it's a very large gap.
to be able to open up these businesses and be as a celebrity or whatever. Like it's good for Shaq,
Yeah,
but the advice that Shaq is giving to regular entrepreneurs there's too much of a gap
it's
there,
definitely a
especially
gap.
for if you say a high school graduate. You ain't got millions of dollars coming in every single year, and you can be like, oh, I'm gonna do this with this $1 million. I'm gonna open up because it only take $1 million to open up a franchise.
That is correct.
You see what I'm saying?
That is
So
very
he
correct.
got paid $38 million in 1 year, so he could open up 30 franchises,
Yeah, he took
and
over
still
Papa
have 8
John's.
million left.
He just slid on in. Papa John slipped up. He said, "I'll take that big fella." And now
Yeah.
he's a Papa John's man. So I mean, he's Shaq's got Papa John's. He's got Reebok. They just reopened that. Allen Iverson is the vice president. So beware of Reebok's coming out. I don't know if they're trending or not, but there's a lot of stuff that I say people his age coming up with is more,
Retro,
it's retro.
nostalgic, is that?
That's the word I
Yeah.
was looking for, nostalgic. Because I remember when Shaq had shoes that when he was like Orlando early Lakers, and he came out with some shoes because he wanted shoes to be affordable for kids and low income families and stuff, and they was called the Shaqs, and he had his little logos
Mm-hmm.
and stamping. You can get them at Payless, which
Mm-hmm.
is closed down. Family Dollar, they did sell shoes. I can't say Dollar General because I don't think they ever sold clothes. But, little stores like that was in the hood that, helped you get by. Now, if you bought them and you went to school, did you get made fun of? Probably. Um, but nonetheless, you didn't have holes in your shoes and you had some whole shoes. Now, I know people that I grew up with that would wait for Jordan to come out. And when I was in high school, I had a job. So while they were waiting for the Jordans to come out, I had like 3 or 4 pair of shoes to their one pair of Jordans. I was buying them, but still, it's all about your mindset. Do you want to be like everybody else, or do you want to be an individual? And I've always chosen to be an individual. Now, have I cookie cutter some things, or maybe took bits and pieces from other things that influenced me? Yes, obviously so. But still, at the end of the day, I'm not gonna say, "Oh, this was my idea." No, I'm gonna be honest. I'm a very honest person now.
And it doesn't even matter if you stole the idea. What does Steve Jobs say? Um,
I'm a trademark.
uh,
I'll trademark before you do. That was my idea.
good
Gotcha.
artists, good artists
Good artist
uh,
borrow.
borrow, great artists steal. So,
See,
and
see,
then you can look at Steve Jobs' background. He a white guy, so
yeah.
white people stole his country and stuff. So, like it's in his
See,
genes
yeah,
to be,
it's in his DNA to
but
steal.
it's in your genes to work. Like
Yeah,
it's in my genes to work. I can work 17 hours without having to be the without having it to be life or death.
see,
And my relatives and ancestors in the past had to go through something like that where it was life and death.
yeah,
We don't have that now, and so we don't want to put in all that work, and they didn't get paid as much, but what they did got us to this point
yeah.
to where we can get paid. And if we're not using that, you stepping on the shoulders of the people in the past, if you're not being able to look at your family, your relatives, your ancestors, the people that came before you, and if you're not ready, if you're not using that to your advantage to push yourself and to do more, because doing more, working more, getting more opportunities, and to it with the effort that you need to just be successful in that opportunity, not trying to get anything from it. That is the key to all success, is giving the effort and unconditionally giving it the effort. And if you don't do that, like you're not reaching your fullest potential, and you really spitting on the people that came before you. And
I
I
don't
don't
want
think
to hear
that's
that.
right. And I think a lot of young people are being disrespectful to the people that came before you. You don't get to sit on the porch with the old people all the time. You
Mm-mm.
need to be out there putting in work, whether that's a job at Pizza Hut that's gonna get you to that next job. But like, you got to come in being a professional. You don't even want to go to the to work every day and do the things necessary that you want to need to do to get to that next level. And
Yeah.
we will never bridge that gap if you don't put in the work, because in that gap, and this is what I forgot to say earlier, in that gap is the work. You got to work to get to that
Yeah. Work to the
stability.
next plateau.
And
Exactly.
so that's who you getting the advice from. Hopefully you getting the advice from me. And if you have any questions, just message us, DM me, DM CJ.
Yeah. I'm on there.
He's my manager, so we're gonna be doing some speaking gigs and all of that stuff this
Yeah.
soon,
I'm gonna be all the way up.
all the way up. So
So
we got to
be
end this
prepared.
podcast because everything is the battery's going dead and everything.
So that means we have to wrap it up,
Yeah, we
guys.
got to wrap it up. Wrap it up. So we'll see you next time.
And as always, be all the way up.